The James Show Podcast.
I was missing you so bad on the break. So the Russia collusion story was the top story in all of the land. This context is so important, how big this story was for 2017, 2018, 2019. More airtime, more column inches, more blogs, more resources were spent on this one story than any other story for 3 straight years. And it should be a huge story that was all fake. It should be a huge story that it just generated negative headlines, negative emotions, negative thoughts, negative every day. It just gave them something, some spear, some arrow, some tiny paper cut that they could throw at Donald Trump. So this would all add up. And after years and years and years of this, there's some people who hate him so much they're shooting at him. Well, we got Tulsi Gabbard digging through some of the old files and finding out that not only was it a hoax, but they knew it was a hoax. Okay, so now who knew what? When did they know it? Who approved it? Did they go get approval? What's the highest guy that had to have known about this? And so now they're trying to attach evidence to Hillary Clinton. They're trying to attach it to Barack Obama. They're trying to attach it to James Comey. And look, whether or not you think these people should go to jail, no one doubts that, or no one should doubt that there was a hoax. And I don't even think that people on MSNBC really doubt that there was somewhat of a hoax. You know, the people have already gotten in trouble. It's already gone to court that they fudged FISA documents to get a warrant to spy on Carter Page because he was in Trump's campaign circle. So when you have the evidence that actually shows something that's really hard to improve, knowledge and intent, well, that's going to be a big problem. Because what are you going to do? Are you going to say, well, yeah, it was a hoax, and yeah, all this other evidence we were wrong about and didn't really exist, but this evidence, this is actually a hoax. Really? I'll let you hear. I mean, it doesn't make sense when I try and explain it like that. But the alibi has now morphed into, this is why it's important to listen to the other side of the media. The evidence that the Russian hoax was an intentional conspiracy to rock Donald Trump's 2016 campaign, and then kind of morphed into, well, let's just saddle him with a Russia investigation for his first term. The evidence of intent is being called a Russian hoax. Okay, let's see.
And to this now, conspiracy theory.
If you don't recognize her voice, that's Mika Brzezinski from the MSNBC morning show, Morning Joe.
And to this now, conspiracy theorists have for years alleged Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign launched a plan to falsely accuse Donald Trump of collaborating with Russia. Now, newly declassified information reveals documents that were supposed to confirm
does that wording throw you off too? I know they have a different world view and they state things different ways and they use different words. Like instead of calling them illegal aliens, they call them undocumented migrants or whatever. But did you hear what she just said? That there's been a years-long hoax to try and attach Hillary to colluding with Russia? For 3 years, the top story was the opposite. 2017, 2018, 2019 was that Russia colluded with Trump to thwart Hillary. Bizarre world that these people live in. Let me start
And
over.
to this now, conspiracy theorists have for years alleged Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign launched a plan to falsely accuse Donald Trump of collaborating with Russia. Now, newly declassified information reveals documents that were supposed to confirm those allegations were likely fake and created by Russian spy services. The material is part of a 29-page annex to a 2023 report by special counsel John Durham, who investigated the government's probe of Russia election interference and the Trump campaign. The New York Times reports, quote, the information reveals that a foundational document for that theory was most likely stitched together by Russian spies. The document is a purported email from July 27th, 2016 that said Mrs. Clinton had approved a campaign proposal to tie Mr. Trump to Russia to distract from the scandal over her use of a private email server. As The Guardian points out, disclosures further undermine Tulsi Gabbard's claims of a widespread plot by Democrats against Donald Trump. Gabbard, who serves as Director of National Intelligence, recently accused Barack Obama and his national security team of orchestrating a slow-motion coup in an effort to undercut the Republican candidate.
I am so tired of the Russian excuse. Every time something went wrong, Russia must have done it. It was a Russian plan. It was Russian evidence. Remember, they said Russia hacked the election.
Russia hacking the election to elect Trump is the end of our democracy. Votes were definitely affected. Russia hacked the election to tilt it to Mr. Trump.
The Russians definitively hacked the election.
Russia did hack the election.
So you see what's going on here is that lie that Russia hacked the election turned out to be a hoax, but the evidence to prove the hoax was a hack planted by the Russians. I feel like I'm in like a David Lynch movie or like what was that Tom Cruise movie, Magnolia or whatever, when you try and figure out what the heck's going on at the end and you're still not sure what the heck. What did I just watch? Is this Mulholland Drive? What just happened? That was the same thing they said about the Hunter Biden laptop. Nope, that's not evidence of the president's son taking money from oligarchs in the world's worst second world countries and hookers and crack and guns and all kinds of illegal stuff. No. That also Russian plant.
There are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plant.
You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax?
The vast majority of the intelligence...
All right, you know where that's going. Okay, who believes this? Who really believes that? Yeah, the Russian spies came in, and they didn't want to get our plans for a nuclear weapon. They didn't want to get our plans for AI. They didn't want to get our plans for, making the smallest silicon microchips, processors, or whatever technology. They wanted to plant a memo in the investigation into the Russia collusion probe. Yeah, that's the likely story. Good call, guys. I mean, kind of good news, but it's just really the absence of bad news. Fort Worth is getting rid of its DEI program. I mean, that's good, but it shouldn't have existed in the first place. And so it's really hard to celebrate this. Hey, they're not going to discriminate against you anymore, James, or other people who share the demographics of James. I don't know where you fit in this argument or in this discussion, but every program that's a DEI program discriminates against me. Every single one. And I found this to be a frustrating conversation to have with some people because they just turn their brains off. Well, what's racist? What policy do you have that puts me ahead of anybody else? What policy do you have that makes this place, whatever the gripe of the day is, a patriarchy or white supremacist or unfair or uninclusive of the letter people or whatever? And you never told a specific law. You're just told this ethereal concept of it's systemic. Oh, you mean systemic. Sounds like you mean microscopic, like it exists, but you just can't see it with the naked eye. Because I can go show you policies that existed that discriminated against me based on immutable characteristics. And you were okay with that. Not only that, you supported that. Not only that, you called it DEI. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, which specifically excludes me. I'm surprised the vote was this close. It just happened in Fort Worth. The vote was 7-4 on the Fort Worth City Council. So 4 people are okay with this. 4 people are like, yes. Yeah, we will discriminate against James, basically. If you're white, if you're a male, if you're straight, if you're the Christian or whatever. Whatever angle they come up with on this intersectionality pie chart, I don't fit in any of them. And then they have the cojones, the giant coconut swinging between their legs to call themselves disenfranchised. Yeah, so we're just serving a disenfranchised community, a historically underserved community. That's absurd. Who's really disenfranchised? Who's really an underserved community? Wouldn't it be the demographic that doesn't have any scholarships, any safe spaces or, exclusive spaces on campuses, any conferences, any holidays? We don't get a week. We don't get a month. We don't get a day. We don't get a parade. There's no hiring programs for us. There's no job fairs that are just for us. There's no domestic violence shelters, no pride marches. No, none of that. But you're disenfranchised and I'm not. I'm the enfranchised one. You mean I'm the guy that has never once in his life seen a job listing encouraging me to apply? Yes, women and people of color strongly encouraged to apply. Okay, so pretty much everyone but me. I'll see another job that says EEOC compliant. Women, people of color, and LGBT strongly encouraged to apply. I'm like, that's everybody but me. Why don't you just throw in like non-Christians too and just narrow it down even more? How about people who are 6'3"? Don't apply. I mean, you're getting really specific here. And if you're so inclusive, how come all of them exclude me? But no. I'm not disenfranchised. I'm in the ruling elite. I'm in the white supremacy class. Is that what I'm in? Just run around with no colleges for me? We can have Texas women's colleges, right? We can have colleges that are exclusively for women without any complaints. We can have historically black colleges and universities that are celebrated. What about for me? No college for me? No professional guilds? You know what I mean? Like in my industry, we have like the National Association of Black Journalists. We have the Latin Grammys. We have Women in Media. We have the Gracie Awards, which is like the radio awards, but let's just exclude all the dudes and give our awards only to women. Do they have any men-only awards? No? Do they have any white-only awards? Do they have the white Miss America? I'm not saying that, I'm the victim here. But just don't come to me and act like I'm some sort of oppressive jerk that's disenfranchising you. Because the context that you're coming from my point of view, is absurd. And it's just some assumed victimhood that's always used as a bludgeon against me. I can flip around on the radio right now. And there's a radio format that's specifically for the LGBTQ. You can go on satellite radio. There's some that are specifically for Latin people, some specifically for black people. Is there a white station? And I'm not saying I want a white station. Just stop calling yourself disenfranchised. Stop calling yourself the underserved community. What service do I have? What service do I have access to that you don't? Because I can point at something that you have that I don't. So, Fort Worth getting rid of your DEI. Yeah, that's a good thing. I can't believe it ever got passed. I can't believe 4 people are still in favor of it. The 4 people that wanted to continue that program, you know what you are? You're a racist and you're a sexist and you're whatever the word. We don't even have a word for when you're bigoted against white people or men or straight people, do we? Anyone ever bring that up before? Because you could be homophobic or even transphobic. But what happens if you have a DEI program like Fort Worth used to have that used to show hiring preferences to LGBT candidates? What's the word for that? Is heterophobic? Is that a thing? Have you ever heard that said before? Isn't it amazing the people that are so concerned about controlling language and its usage, you end up playing in the same coloring book that doesn't afford you the same tools? Think about it. There's Islamophobic. What happens if you discriminate against Christians? What's the word for that? Christophobic? Christianphobic? We don't know. It's never been said. It doesn't exist. So who's really disenfranchised here? The people that don't even have a word to describe when you crap on them? 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Coming up next on The James Show, WNBA has a problem. It's with toys. Yes, that kind. I'll explain next on The James Show. News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey, homeowners. James Parker here for Blue Ribbon Roofing. Look, there's a couple of things that you're worried about with your roof. It's been on there a while. You notice a shingle missing. You've been through some hailstorms. You see some dents. It got hit by a tree branch. Whatever has you suspicious about your roof, I know a couple things you're worried about. You're worried about getting the wrong roofing company because it's someone that come in there, cost you all kinds of money, do a terrible job, and then they don't come fix it, or they try and charge you more for it, or they try and overcharge you. You're also worried about the pain in the butt, getting it scheduled. How long is this going to take? Are you going to leave my yard a mess? And then the third thing you're worried about is paying for it. Can you afford it? Is the insurance company going to cut you off at the knees? Listen, this is why it's so important to pick the right roofing company when it's time to take care of your most important possession, the home that you live in. Go to blueribbondfw.com, schedule your free inspection. I can back it up because I did it myself. I went to Blue Ribbon DFW. I got John Hopkins to get his butt up on my roof and check it out, take pictures, have a chat with me, explain to me everything that's going on, and talk about solutions. And I love hearing the stories about when people get shorted by their insurance company, it can be refiled. John knows what to do. John knows who to call. It's not the same person that you call. And he can get you the money that you deserve from the insurance company. Not because he's smarter or a genius or Elon Musk level. It's just he's been doing this for 31 years. He's good at it. So schedule your free inspection today and get the ball rolling. It'll just take about an hour or so of your time. And you'll be glad you went to blueribbondfw.com. So go to blueribbondfw.com. I think, if the intention was to bring us together, it certainly didn't do that. And just like when you create the Department of Education because, you want to make scores higher and costs lower, the exact opposite happened since the Department of Education came around. Scores have gone down and the costs have become even more unaffordable. The FDA was sold to you as the regulatory body that would keep food companies from lying to you, is now the vehicle by which they lie to you. And DEA and all these civil rights retread, focus, digging through your belly button. This isn't supposed to bring us together. This is tearing us apart. How are we supposed to come together if you're walking around downtown Dallas and every 2 or 3 blocks there's some sort of memoriam or plaque or historical marker or mural or statue or something reminding you of something evil and racist a white person did 100 or 150 years ago? If you want to bring us together in DEI, seems pretty self-evident. You are giving people a reason to distrust other people based solely on the color of their skin. As long as these programs exist, we will never get rid of racism. That's why I'm so glad Fort Worth got rid of it. Christine in Dallas, you're on WBAP.
Hi there. Hey, I just wanted to share a couple things. I'm a white female, and throughout my life, because I've been a white female.
Are you white, or would you call yourself Anglo?
Anglo.
Sorry,
Anglo.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm trying to get that to catch on. Sorry.
Okay, whatever. I'm a girl that lives in this world, and I'm no better or no worse than everybody else, and I think we all should be treated the same. And as far as color, what does that matter? We could have any colors of anything. But what I want to say is it never ended. I mean, I had lost benefits of being able to get grants and things for school when I was young. So I had to struggle along and do the things I had to do to get there. Never had a hand up, did it myself. Came to when my kids needed help, they didn't get it either. And because of the color of our skin, and it just was not fair. The most recent for me was back in 2009. We had warn letters go out in a certain airline, and I got riffed because I was a female of a certain age.
Is this riff like laid off, reduction in force?
Laid off, yes.
Yeah, that's what they call it in the radio world now, too. No, you didn't get fired or laid off. You got riffed.
Anglos.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Christine, I am so old that when I went to college, you could sign up for all the financial aid on the website, but that was still kind of a new thing. So you could still go into the administrative office and get this giant binder with these papers that are in the plastic sleeves. And so I went on the website and I just kind of jokingly looked around, and there were no scholarships that were aimed at me. And I noticed, just like the previous caller, that they had them for women. They had it for every color under the sun but me. They had it for every nationality under the sun but me. They had it, for like Native Americans even, or they had it for foreigner students only. And I thought, well, that doesn't seem very fair or even. But then as it didn't really bother me that bad at the time. But as I went through the real world and I keep getting told that other people are disenfranchised and I have some unfair advantage, it's like, oh, hell no. Now you're not going to disenfranchise me and then tell me that I'm disenfranchising you. I can't continue this conversation if that's going to be the context of the talk here. And so I'm just shocked it took this long for this DEI stuff to go away as it is, Christine.
Well, I think it's going to take a long time because they're really holding on. And honestly, I just couldn't step into that realm to say, okay, because I'm a girl, I'm going to be able to take that from you. So those were things I backed away from, even though they were there for me. I just felt like I just was no better than everybody else. And I didn't think that I deserved to have that because of who I was.
Well, and for the people of color and women and people who do benefit from DEI, I don't want this to go away to hurt you. I don't want this to go away because I'm jealous or there's some sort of envy there. There's just an inherent injustice. And I hope to God that if I wasn't me, that if I was a female person of color or a lesbian with the club foot or whatever the grievance is, that I would hold the same position. I hope that I wouldn't be affected by my bias and how the programs like that could help. But all of these programs should be gone. And I just think you are seriously, and I don't mean this as a hyperbole, you're supporting racism and you're supporting sexism when you support these DEI programs. Period, point blank in the story. It may be against a demographic you dislike or thinks they deserve it, but that just explains why you support racism. Not that you're not a racist. That's your justification for supporting a pretty evil ideology, historically speaking. All right, I'm going to leave you with a piece of advice from a homeless guy.
Hello. I'm here to remind you that the only thing keeping you from achieving all your dreams and having all of the things that you've ever wanted is probably money. That's it. Just lots of money. So if you could just get lots of money, you could probably have all that stuff that you wanted. Okay, just go get a bunch of money somewhere. Okay, think about that for a while. Have a super freaking awesome day and stuff. Or you could just decide to be happy anyway and don't need all that stuff, and then the money's not all that important, but, Otherwise, okay, bye.
All right, that's going to about do it for the James Show. Stick around. Mark Levin is coming up next. If you need some more James Show action in the meantime, it's 21 hours before the show comes back on. But you can fill some of that void in your soul with some James goodness on social media. I've got a bunch of videos on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. I do a lot of work putting all this stuff up. Somebody better go see it. But one of the big ones is the podcast. Don't just find the podcast, subscribe to it and actually listen to it. And if you hear something in the commercials, just buy tons of it. Just spend all your money on everything that's in the commercials for during the James Show on the air or the podcast or the website, or I prefer WBAP.com and the WBAP app. That's going to do it for the James Show. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP.
The James Show Podcast.